What's up, y'all? Today's episode is for the people who love sports and also secretly love when lawyers start arguing about words like consultation versus bargaining.
Which is a niche hobby, but it's our niche hobby. And honestly, it pays the bills.
Because the NWSL that's National Women's Soccer League, dropped a new compensation mechanism, the High Impact Player Rule. And the union responded by filing a grievance and basically saying,
you don't get to invent a second salary system mid-contract.
And then, like a plot twist written by someone who snacks on chaos, the rule helped set up a record deal, and the union is still fighting to rescind the rule.
That's not hypocrisy, that's strategy, and it's the part casual fans miss. Unions don't only fight for outcomes, they fight for precedent.
So today we're breaking down what Lee calls
the jurisdiction of power. Who controls value? Who controls the rules? Who controls the definition of market?
And who controls my attention span when you start saying the word jurisdiction?
You love it.
It's true. I do.
So let's get into the war zone.
You're listening to the AAA Ball and Play podcast. Quick note, this is for education and entertainment. Nothing here is legal, tax, or financial advice, and nothing we say creates an athlete-agent relationship. Listening or contacting us does not make us your lawyers or your agents. For advice, talk to a qualified professional in your state.
All right, welcome back. Michael here.
And Lee, quick disclaimer, education and commentary only. No attorney-client relationship is created by listening to this episode, and this is not legal advice.
Now, this story has a timeline, and the timeline is the skeleton. If you skip it, the whole thing turns into jelly.
And I know sports fans hate timelines until they realize timelines are the reason they're mad.
Step 1. Late 2025, Trinity Rodman's re-signing becomes a flashpoint. There's a reporting that the league office rejected or challenged the structure of an attempted deal and raised cap circumvention concerns.
Step 2, December 23rd, 2025. The league announces the HIP rule, the High Impact Player Rule. It's basically, quote, we'll let teams pay up to $1 million beyond the cap for certain players if the player qualifies.
Step 3, January 14th, 2026. The NWSLPA, that again, National Women's Soccer League Player Association, files a grievance, calling it a parallel pay system created without proper bargaining.
Step 4, January 22nd, 2026. Rodman signs a new deal reported as record-setting.
So, to the public, it looks like the rule worked.
To the union, it looks like the rule got used, so now we have to challenge it, or it becomes normal.
And that's the paradox at the heart of your paper. A rule can benefit a star and still be dangerous to the labor structure.
Exactly. This is not just money, this is governance. Now, a quick little aside here. Throughout this, Michael and I are both going to refer to my paper. I wrote a white paper on this, which is just a fancy way of saying an educational tome, if you will, about all of this, a legal paper, and it is up on the website if you would like to read it. But that's what we're referring to when we say your paper. So go ahead, Michael.
Lee, can you explain the grievance arbitration like I'm a 5-year-old or even a golden retriever?
Happy to do so. So a CBA, collective bargaining agreement, is a contract between the league and the union. Most professional sports teams have one. When one side thinks the other side broke it, they file a grievance, basically a formal "you've violated this agreement" complaint. Then instead of court, most CBAs require arbitration, a private dispute process where an arbitrator decides what the contract means and whether it was violated.
So not a Twitter court, and not a vibes court, but an actual legally meaningful process.
Right. Arbitration is where the grown-ups are, or where the grown-ups should be, even when the grown-ups are also petty.
Your paper frames the 2024 CBA as a gold standard shift.
Yeah.
More player movement, international alignment vibes, draft changes, free agency expansion. The goal? Athlete autonomy.
Yes, but it also still has a salary cap system, a parity-driven model, cost controls, and guardrails. And here's the critical point to this discussion. The stability of a cap system depends on one thing: predictability. The whole premise is that compensation rules are negotiated and then everyone plans around them.
So when the league introduces a new mechanism that affects how top end pay works, the union hears this. You just altered compensation structure.
Which they did, right? And that's not a small tweak. It's like changing the rules of the game after the first quarter's been played. And that's why the union keeps saying parallel pay system, not because they hate stars getting paid.
They love stars getting paid. Stars raise the ceiling. The issue is who decides how we raise the ceiling and whether it's done through bargaining.
Yes.
All right, Lee, what does it mean when you say compensation is a mandatory subject of bargaining?
Well, it means that wages and key working conditions are the stuff employers can't just change on their own if there's a union. They have to bargain in good faith. It's not nice to do, it's legally required.
So when the union says you can't invent this, they're basically saying this is bargaining territory.
Exactly.
All right. Your paper raises the single entity paradox. Translation, the league structure has more centralized control than a pure club-by-club free market.
Exactly. In a centralized structure, the league has incentives to preserve parity and cost control because one owner going nuclear can destabilize everyone.
Which brings us to the league's fear. If wealthy owners can outspend the field through clever structures, especially backloading, then parity collapses fast.
And I think that's kind of what we're seeing in Major League Baseball right now. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit?
With the huge disparity between the highest and lowest spending. So
yes.
It is. So,
absolutely.
And the union's fear here is the mirror image. If the league can veto or reshape free agency contracts because it doesn't like the spirit of the deal, then free agency becomes conditional. And conditional freedom is not really freedom.
It's like being told, you're free to do what you want as long as I approve it.
Which is my least favorite kind of freedom.
I can't relate. I approve everything you do.
That's because you're smart. See, the system works. All right.
All right, moving on, people. Let's describe the HIP rule cleanly. And again, Lee, what does HIP stand for?
High impact player.
Thank you very much.
I like the acronym, though, HIP. HIP is designed to unlock up to $1 million in additional compensation outside the cap for qualifying players while still requiring a minimum cap charge, which is 12% of the base cap.
So it's like, yes, pay her more, but we're still counting something against your team budget, so you can't totally ignore parity.
Correct. But the real fight is, and I agree with this, is the qualification criteria, because HIP status depends on specific markers, lists, awards, rankings, national team minutes.
Which sounds objective.
But it's actually a huge value judgment, because who chose the list? Who chose the thresholds? Who decided which forms of excellence count?
And that's what your paper nails. The league isn't just allowing money, it's curating who gets access to the money.
Which is power. That is governance dressed up as metrics.
All right. Explain off-cap compensation and do it with snacks.
Okay, so salary cap is like the team gets a set number of cookies to hand out. Off-cap compensation is the league saying for certain people, you can give them a secret cupcake that doesn't count as a cookie.
But only if the cupcake recipient is on the league's approved list.
So here's the legal center. The union argues that this is a unilateral change, new compensation architecture without bargaining, so it violates the CBA and labor law principles.
And the league's likely position is, we had authority under management rights and or roster classification language, and we consulted the union.
Right? And the union responds, consultation is not bargaining. It's like, you can inform me you're taking my fries, but that's not the same as me agreeing to share them.
Now let's bring in your deeper chest move. Precedent risk.
Yeah, because if the league can unilaterally fix a star pay problem today, it can unilaterally fix something else tomorrow. Benefits, mobility, roster rules.
And that's why they keep pushing the alternative. If there's $1 million to add, just raise the team cap universally.
Because that preserves market negotiation and avoids league-curated worthiness.
Your paper goes hard on the criteria. External media rankings and USWNT, that's United States Women's National Team minutes, create a value funnel.
Exactly. It risks being Eurocentric and brand centric. It can undervalue players who are elite, but not celebrated in the specific media ecosystems that feed those lists.
And you also point out categories that get squeezed as well.
Yep.
Defenders, players returning from injury or pregnancy, rising domestic talents without the right minutes,
Yep.
global South stars who aren't on the approved lists.
Because the list isn't best players, it's best players as recognized by this list of validators.
And once you tie in money to validators, you tie careers to validators.
And that's where unions live, in the gap between talent and recognition.
And what does thumb on a scale mean here?
Well, in a free negotiation, teams decide what you're worth within the cap. Thumb on the scale means the league is influencing the negotiation by deciding who qualifies to be paid above the cap. So the league is shaping market outcomes.
So it's not the market decided. It is the market decided after the league filtered who gets access to extra money.
Yes, exactly. And that is one of the spiciest parts. Criteria tied to national team minutes, because even if no coach changes behavior, you've created a system where selection choices have direct financial consequences. That creates pressure, perceived or real.
And it can create player tension too. If I don't get called in, I lose $1 million lane.
Exactly. And it also blurs the line between domestic labor economics and international sports selection, which is a recipe for controversy.
Plus, it invites conspiracy culture.
Right.
And sports already have enough of that.
Yeah, we don't need minutes truthers.
So what are the possible outcomes?
Well, there are three big buckets. The league wins, union wins hard, or split decision. If in the league win bucket, the arbitrator finds HIP fits within the CBA's permitted authority, which is roster classification, management rights, consultation language, and HIP stays. If the union wins hard, the arbitrator finds HIP is a compensation system change requiring bargaining. HIP gets rescinded or modified, and the parties may have to bargain a replacement. And then in a split decision, HIP survives, but criteria or implementation get adjusted, like narrowing the rule, delaying it, or requiring further bargaining steps.
And if your paper adds an interesting layer, if a rule is rescinded, what happens to contracts signed under it?
Well, that's where the whole, where make whole relief and careful remedial crafting is going to matter. Unions generally don't want players harmed for the league's choices. The remedy can be structured to protect the players. In this instance, it's Rodman, while still enforcing the bargaining requirement.
So Rodman doesn't become collateral damage in the governance fight.
Right, and I don't want to see that happen. But yeah, we want it to be governance, not sabotage.
Your conclusion is basically women's sports is moving from survival mode to sovereignty mode.
Yes, and sovereignty is where power fights happen, because once revenues rise and global markets heat up, everyone wants to control the steering wheel. I think we're seeing that very thing in the WNBA negotiations right now.
The league's vision: protect parity, stop cap games, retain icons with targeted tools.
The union's vision is to protect negotiated rights, protect broad wage growth, don't let the league curate who deserves top pay.
And your core line is, this is a battle about power and not money.
Right, because money is the symptom, power is the disease, if you will, or if you're the league, power is the medicine.
Lee, you're pretty terrified when you're poetic.
Yes, I know. You like it.
I do. So here's what's to watch next. Does arbitration treat HIP as allowed implementation or prohibited unilateral change?
Mm-hmm.
Do we see bargaining for a new cap structure ahead of the next commercial cycle? And does the league keep stars without turning into a feeder system?
Because the global market doesn't care about anyone's internal feelings. It only cares about opportunity and money.
That's the episode. Subscribe, share, and send this to the friend who says, I don't care about labor law, but somehow knows every detail of free agency.
Because free agency is labor law, just with better outfits.
We'll catch you next time.
You're listening to the AAA Ball and Play podcast. Quick note, this is for education and entertainment. Nothing here is legal, tax, or financial advice, and nothing we say creates an athlete-agent relationship. Listening or contacting us does not make us your lawyers or your agents. For advice, talk to a qualified professional in your state.